Peter Chang here for Macho Cave TV. And when you're installing your servo, you might realize that if you have a larger servo, the nose piece may not completely fit your larger servo. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking a pencil, just marking it off, and just marking off an area to cut this a little bit more in the front nose piece. And the front nose piece is made out of graphite, so it's perfectly okay to trim a little bit of it away. You might be a little hesitant to trim if you're worried about structural integrity of the nose piece, but I just want you to know, as long as you keep the screws tight, the carbon fiber does do a very good job of structurally keeping the nose piece in place. So you see where I've dremeled, and I didn't really dremel like a whole lot of this, but just enough so that I could actually fit in a larger servo. So I'm going to go ahead and just clamp this in. And this piece is a little wily, so just be a little patient with it. And you don't want to just be totally crude with this part, because you don't want to damage the servo horn on here. But just take your time, and it should just clamp in. So just part of this name of this game is just to be a little bit patient with everything. And these ball clamps could be just kind of frustrating, but I like to clamp this in before I screw in the servo. And it is a little bit of a struggle, but once you get that in, you could put in your servo. So I've also put in the servo horns on there as well too, and just making sure that everything is working okay, and just checking fitment. And I'm going to clamp this side to the servo. And you notice that I didn't screw in the servo just yet. I like to usually clamp this before I screw in the servo, just in case I have to move the servo a little bit or reposition the servo. It's a little easier for me to get that in before I screw it all in. Now I just hold everything down and I screw in the bottom side in, and it's just that simple. So once this is in, my servo should be functional and everything should be intact. Also, if you remember watching from the past videos, I do have the RPM plate on here, and I find that this reinforces my X-Factory SCX-60 CF as well too. So if you're worried about like dremeling or taking away from that carbon fiber nose piece, you might want to put in the RPM plate in there as well too, just to strengthen and stiffen everything out too. Of course, if you're worried about weight, you probably don't want to put in the RPM plate, but I find that for me it's nice. It acts as a nice little skid plate on there. So I'm just checking the fitment here, checking to see if everything is okay, and it looks fabulous. Everything looks like it's pretty well functional. And let's just go ahead and test this on the remote. And I'm just going to fire everything up and just give everything like a little test spin. So let me just check fitment here. Everything looks pretty good. So let's give it a try. Okay, let's put it on there. I'm just going to go ahead and grab the remote here. And let's turn everything on. And so far, it's looking pretty good. It's servo isn't flopping out. Everything seems pretty steady. And that looks pretty good. And I gotta charge my battery here, but everything looks like it's working pretty good. Thanks for watching, and remember, everything matters.